The police are expected to keep people safe, in public, in our homes, and online. But what happens if someone within the police is making us feel unsafe, scared, or even putting us in danger? Have high-profile criminal cases undermine the public's confidence in the police?
A Metropolitan Police officer would appear in court today, charged with the kidnap and murder of Sarah Everard, who went missing while walking home in South London 10 days ago.
The crimes shook trust in policing.
The force has been under serious scrutiny in recent years in relation to the conduct of a number of officers.
The girl went to a teaching assistant at her primary school and told them what John Stringer had done to her. What is an aggravating factor, to use the legal term, is the fact that he was and remains a serving police officer at the time of these offences.
I've spoken to people who say they've reported misconduct by police officers, but that it wasn't taken seriously. One of them, Mary, was in a relationship with a former Welsh police officer who was violent towards her. We've changed her name and voiced up her words for legal reasons. The abuse happened over a decade ago.
He was so violent. He would punch and kick me. I'd be black and blue. It continued for many years, but I was too scared to leave or report it at the time.
And the police are supposed to be an organisation that are there to keep us safe if we reach out to them. The fact that he was a police officer, did it feel like the police wasn't an option for you to reach out to because of that?
Yes, absolutely. He was the police officer. He was supposed to protect people and be compassionate, but he didn't. There was one time where he attacked me physically to the ground whilst off duty at a social event in front of other officers. No one called me after to see if I was okay, and as far as I'm aware, nothing was said to him. I felt totally abandoned.
The Centre for Women's Justice is a charity that has represented multiple misconduct cases.
We've seen sort of patterns of failures in the investigation process and the misconduct process arising from these complaints, which have impacted on trust and confidence amongst those victims. And generally speaking, the impression we have is that things are not much better, if at all better. There are some police forces who I think have tried to institute changes on improvements in their police misconduct process, but we've yet to see the extent to which that bears any fruit.
We reached out to the Victims Commissioner for Wales and England about police misconduct. In a statement, Baroness Newlove told us, "I too often hear accounts from victims about being ignored, deprioritised, or even fobbed off by the police. Only by effectively identifying and addressing misconduct can officers regain the confidence of those they serve." South Wales is a force that say they're committed to spotting misconduct and to taking the appropriate action. BBC Wales Live have been given exclusive access to members of the team working to tackle this within the force. One of those cases is former officer Richard Helling, who was convicted last year for having sex with a vulnerable victim of crime he met whilst on duty.
I believe it was the first conviction where we didn't use any witness evidence, so we proactively identified his behaviour, so his inappropriate use of police systems. From developing the technology we had and identifying him without any other intelligence or witness testimony, we were able to build a case against Richard Helling.
The software runs 24/7 on internal police systems like work phones and emails. It recognises around 5,000 words and emojis which could be deemed offensive or inappropriate.
There was no complaint that came in, so I think that was the unique part of that case. It was through our proactive auditing that those red flags come up.
As well as proactively identifying cases, they say preventative work is also key. Detective Inspector Donna Clutterbuck has helped introduce sexual harassment training, which was piloted in South Wales Police and now used in forces across Wales and England.
You've got to be open and transparent, haven't you? And that's what it is. We recognise that there was bad behaviours. Every force has recognised they've got those behaviours. And as employers, you've got a duty to do something about that, because we're not always going to be able to change the behaviours of the perpetrators, but what we can do is change the behaviour of those around them, so those who are witnessing know what they have to do. We've had an uplifting report, and I think that's good. It's really good because it shows people know that they're going to be taken seriously, they're going to be believed.
The Home Office said it was clear standards must urgently improve and that the UK government has pledged to introduce mandatory professional standards on vetting and misconduct.
And if you've been affected by any of the issues there, details of organisations offering support are at bbc.co.uk /action line. Well, I'm now